Okay, let's dive right in. We all think about daily routines, right? Usually as these rigid schedules meant to make us more productive. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if a schedule could be, well, something sacred? Today, we're going to break down a really unique 24-hour cycle, but not from the perspective of some productivity guru. No, we're looking at it through the ancient, mythical eyes of a dragon. So meet Zoran. He's a 3,000-year-old dragon who has pretty much seen it all. And honestly, he's not all that impressed with how we humans try to control our time. But he's been watching one mortal, a guy named Richard, who's created a daily rhythm that's so profound, even an ancient dragon had to stop and take notice. This is that story, told through Zoran's eyes. And this is the most important thing you gotta get right from the start. We're not talking about your typical to-do list or calendar. Zoran sees that Richard hasn't built some kind of cage to trap time. Instead, what he's crafted is something Zoran calls a prayer in motion. It's a living, breathing rhythm where your intention, your why, is way more important than just ticking off boxes. All right, so here it is, the map of this sacred rhythm. It's a full 24-hour cycle that, as you can see, begins and ends in this deep state of stillness. It beautifully weaves together profound inner work, physical practice, connecting with nature, and crucially, human relationships. So let's break down exactly how this extraordinary day unfolds. The journey begins in the absolute dead of night, a time that Zoran calls the hour of thin veils, when that boundary between our world and the mystical one is at its absolute finest. This whole period isn't about being productive. It's about a deep descent into this sacred inner archive of wisdom. So, Richard's midnight meditation, from 12:30 to 3 a.m., happens during what's known as Brahma Muhurta, or the Creator's Hour. Zoran points out that even ancient beings like dragons recognize this time as a golden window. It's when the universe is just humming with potential and your mind is uniquely, incredibly clear. The perfect time for that deep inner work. And the result of all this deep work? Get this, 150 books. This incredible amount of creativity doesn't come from just grinding it out with intellectual effort. Nope. It flows from a mystical research ritual that he does from 3 to 6 a.m. every single morning. Zoran explains that Richard's research isn't really about scholarship in the way we think of it. It's more like a shamanic journey. He follows what he calls a thread of love, something the dragons know as the golden filament. It's like the cosmic DNA that connects all knowledge. So his books aren't really written. They're more like they're excavated from this living library of existence. Now, this is where ancient wisdom smashes right into the modern world. Richard actually uses AI, but not as some cold, sterile machine. He treats it as a sacred scribe that helps him shape and refine the revelations he gets during his research. It just goes to show you that even modern technology can serve a sacred purpose, if the intention is right. Okay, so after hours and hours of that mystical deep dive, the rhythm shifts. It moves from the inner world to the outer one. It's time to ground all that wisdom in the physical. Richard does this with Hatha Yoga and a long walk in nature before he turns to the ceremony of nourishment. It's a way of reminding the body that it, too, is a sacred vessel. Zoran is actually really impressed by this part of the ritual. He believes that how you feed yourself directly reflects how you honor existence itself, and Richard's choices are so intentional. A big focus on vibrant, whole foods that bring clarity while consciously avoiding anything that creates mental fog. For him, this isn't just grabbing a bite to eat. It's a full-on 2.5-hour ceremony of nourishment that sets him up for the whole day. So many spiritual paths really emphasize solitude. But this rhythm, it does the exact opposite. The afternoon is all about finding the divine not in isolation, but in human connection, and then following that with a conscious, graceful completion of the day's work. 4 hours every single afternoon are dedicated to what he calls sacred companionship with his wife. Zoran notes that this is the piece so many seekers totally forget. Love, laughter, sharing a meal, these aren't distractions from the spiritual path. They are the path. They are integral expressions of it. And now we arrive at the most extraordinary practice of the entire cycle. From 11 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., Richard enters what Zoran describes as a miraculous state of being. This is the practice that serves as the bridge from one day into the next. So, this is pranayama, or breathwork, but it's on a whole other level. Zoran, in his 3,000 years, has seen countless yogis practice this, but he says Richard has evolved it. He actually directs the flow of breath between his nostrils using only his consciousness, no hands involved. This isn't just technique anymore, it's pure mastery. The physical ritual itself is this beautiful, simple choreography. He draws one knee in, breathing through one nostril. Then he switches to the other. And finally, he embraces both knees, breathing through both nostrils at the same time. The body itself becomes a prayer, a physical expression of the breath's sacred journey. And this is the result. This 90-minute practice isn't some endurance test. It's a complete immersion into a state of bliss. This breath alchemy cleanses all the energy from the day and prepares his consciousness for the midnight meditation that's about to start, creating this perfect, seamless, sacred loop. So what can we learn from all this? After observing this remarkable rhythm, Zoran offers some timeless advice, not just for Richard, but really for any of us who are looking to bring a little more intention and grace into our own lives. Here it is, the dragon's wisdom distilled for us mortals. Notice the theme here. It's all about flexibility, humility, and listening to your own inner voice. It's a powerful reminder that any structure we create should be there to help us, to serve our awakening, not to become another source of pride or rigidity. The key is to hold it all very, very lightly. And that really brings us to Zoran's final powerful thought. He says that when a structure becomes a prison, you should burn it down. But when it becomes wings, you should soar. So the question for all of us is this: what about your daily rhythm? Is it a cage or is it giving you wings?